friends, welcome back to my channel. I hope you like to talk about books because that's what I do here, and today I'm going to do a reading vlog to hopefully get myself out of the book slump that I am in. I've been dealing with a lot, life's been busy. So I've been trying to turn to reading, but at the same time my brain's just not there, so I'm on a little bit of a slump. It's taken me a while to get through some books. It's taking me a lot of effort to pick up a book, but it's also how I find that I relieve the most stress, so I'm trying to get back into it. So I'm very behind on my September TBR. So I still have like 8 or 9 books to read out of the 12 I chose, because I decided to mood read at the beginning of the month, and then I went to Disney for 5 days. So I only read 1 book over those 5 days. Granted, it was When the Moon Hatched, which is a brick. So I'm just happy that one's off the TBR for the month. I don't have to worry about reading a 700-page book. But anyway, that's what we're going to do today. We're going to try to read some of the books off my TBR, see what we can get through. Not sure exactly how long I'm going to do this, probably until it doesn't feel like a chore, but reading shouldn't be a chore. So we'll see. I'm going to take it easy on myself, but I do want to kind of try to get through this slump with you guys. So the book I'm reading right now is The Rule Book by Sarah Adams, and I'm about 120 pages in, and I am liking this. I do like the couple. I think that their banter's funny, and the tension between them is intense. But again, I'm just I don't want to ruin a book's rating either by reading it at the wrong time. We'll see. So far enjoying this. It's not feeling like too much of a chore to pick it up, but at the same time, I'm not craving to pick it up. So we'll see. We're going to start the vlog with me continuing this, and then we'll look at the TBR and see what looks good to read next. We're just going to mood read our way through this to get out of this slump. So I'll catch up with you guys in a little bit. Okay, so I just finished The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. This was cute. It was a fun, quick, flirty second chance romance to get through to try to help get me out of this book slump. So I don't know how much I talked about it earlier, but it's basically a second chance romance between Derek and Nora, and he is an NFL tight end who is coming off an injury, and she is his new agent, and they were actually college sweethearts, and they broke up, and it was not really I don't want to say it wasn't amicable, but it was not a agreed upon breakup, I guess I should say. Most aren't. But they never really recovered from it, and now she is his new agent, and they have to deal with the feelings that they still have for each other, and then something else happens that they have to deal with as well, without going too much into the detail of the plot. So I did enjoy this. It was, again, a quick read to try to get me out of this book slump, to get another book off of this list, since I've only read 1 in the past week. So I still have almost my entire TBR from September left, and I don't really know what I want to read. I have 9 books left on my TBR. Yeah, 1 on my Kindle, which is the Zodiac Academy 2nd book, Ruthless Fae. I have Vow of Thieves that I'm kind of leaning towards right now because I want to finish out that duology, but I also really want to read Cross the Line, which is another sports romance by Simone Sultani. I want to read these all. I just have to decide which one I want to read next. So I'm between these 3 for what I want to read next. Vow of Thieves, Cross the Line, and then 27 Minutes by Ashley Tate, which is a mystery thriller. I think I'm going to go with Vow of Thieves. I'm going to start Vow of Thieves, and we'll see. We'll see how it goes. If it's not my vibe, we'll put it back for now and choose another one, because again, I'm trying to not slump out since I have basically my entire TBR left to read. So I'll get started on this one, and then I'll update you guys either probably tomorrow, because it's already kind of late. I'm probably not going to get very far on it tonight, but I will talk to you all soon. A little update. I did end up picking up Vow of Thieves last night, and I'm just over 100 pages in now. I'm not liking it, but it's not making me really want to pick it up, and we're already halfway through the next day, and I'm only 100 pages in. So what I think I'm going to do is keep this to the side for a bit. And I think I'm going to try to start Cross the Line. And this is not normal for me. I don't typically read more than 1 book at a time. But because I am slumpy and I want a book that I want to read and I want to pick up, I'm going to try another romance just because they're fast-paced. It might help me get through it a little bit quicker. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm going to try to start this. I may go back to Vow of Thieves. I'll probably try to finish this before this video is up, because I do want to get out of the slump in this video. So I don't know how long it's going to be. But I'm not liking this. It is interesting. I do want to know what's going to happen, but I'm not itching to pick it back up, if that makes sense. So I don't want to ruin my experience of this because I loved Dance of Thieves by trying to force myself to read this when I'm not in the mood for it. So that is why we're going to try a romance and see if that just can't get me a little bit more excited to read. And then maybe go back. I might go back and forth. We'll see. We'll see how the day goes, but I'm gonna try picking this up now. And I will update you all a little later. I will talk a little bit about Vow of Thieves actually while we're still here. So I can't talk too much about it, but this does pick up directly where Dance of Thieves left off. And the beginning, like 20 pages, is a little slow. It's a little bit of a recap of what happened and what's going on in the storyline, but then it picks up real quick. And I think that if I get another 50 or so pages in, I'm really gonna not want to put it down, but right now it's just not holding my attention as well as I'd like it to. But it is interesting. I do love the characters in this book. I love Kazi, I love Jace, so I am interested to see how their story continues and ends, because this is the final book, obviously. It's just a duology, but I may get back to this today. We'll see how Cross the Line goes, but I'll update you all once I figure out what's going on. Okay, update. This is going a little better. I'm about halfway through Cross the Line, and basic premise is Willow is Dev's best friend's little sister. And they also are kind of like childhood friends because they've known each other for their entire life. I think pretty much their entire lives since they were quite young. So it's not just best friend's little sister, it's also like childhood friends. So she's had a crush on him for like ever, and something happened at the beginning of the book that's kind of like a flashback between them. And now they're kind of dealing with that event and like the feelings that came out of it. But also she is now his social media manager because he had a fallout with his previous one, and it ended up like tarnishing his reputation a little bit and his image. So she's just like fresh out of school for sports marketing, and he hires her to help him reestablish his image and like clean up his image. And so she's on the F1. This is an F1 romance. I don't know if I said that. Now she's on the F1 tour with him, and they're getting closer, and there's like a bunch of other stuff going on in the background, like with his team and everything. So there's a little bit of drama there. There's obviously the whole, like, my brother said, don't ever get with one of my friends kind of thing, and has warned Deb off of being with Willow, that whole thing. But there's definitely feelings there, and they've both been pretty open about it. So it's cute. I'm enjoying it. I may try to go back and read a little bit of Vow of Thieves and then come back to this tonight. I don't know. It's later than I would like to be for being where I am in these books in the day, but I have been itching to pick this book up a little bit more than I was with Vow of Thieves, so that helped me kind of get through that. But we'll see how the duration of the rest of these books goes. So I will update in a bit. We'll see which book I pick up and where I am at that point. New day, new update. I finished Cross the Line this morning. So I read a little bit more of it last night after my last update, and then I finished it out this morning when I woke up. This was cute. It did kind of help me get through a book because it was fast-paced and it's a romance, so they're like very easy to digest. So that helped. I'll rate books at the end of this, but I'm still not fully thinking I'm out of this slump because I only have read maybe another 60 pages of this book, and I'm still like struggling to get through it. And it's not that it's bad. Like I'm not bored. It's hard to explain. Like, I'm not bored with the story. I just have no urge to pick a book up. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, if you've been in a book slump, maybe you understand, but I'm struggling right now. So I do want to finish this, but I may have to pick up another book to help me move along with this. I don't know that I'm going to be able to read this straight through, but I am going to try to read this a little bit more today, and I might pick up like a thriller or something. I do have one. Hold on. So I do have 27 Minutes by Ashley Tate that is on my TBR for the month of September too, that I may pick up and start and see if it's fast-paced at all. I also just bought, literally like 2 hours ago, Cujo and Carrie by Stephen King, which are two books of his that I've been wanting to read. However, they're not on my TBR for this month or the end of the year. So responsible Emily should pick this book to try to read. But Book Slump Emily wants to pick up Carrie. So we'll see how that cookie crumbles. But that is where I am in this attempt to get out of this book slump that is very frustrating. But I will update you all once I've made up my mind and read something. So remember how I said I was gonna pick up like a thriller or something to see if that helped? Yeah, I didn't. So what I did do was pick up my Kindle and start the second book in the Zodiac Academy, Ruthless Fae. And I'm already like 40% of the way through the book, so I can't say that was a bad idea. But there's just something about these books that it's like reading a soap opera with fairies. That's literally what it feels like, because it's just so ridiculous. It's good. So that's where I am with that. Yeah, Zodiac Academy. It's about two Fae girls, twins that were taken from the Fae world when they were younger, and they're royalty. They're actually like the heirs to the throne, and they were changelings as children. So they grew up in the mortal world, and on their like, I can't remember what birthday, it might have been like their 18th birthday or something, this professor comes to get them from the Zodiac Academy, which is in this like Fae world, and they are to be like trained with their magic and stuff. That's basically it. There are like 5 heirs, is it 4 or 5 male heirs that have like been ruling, those 5 families have been ruling in their absence because their parents aren't in the picture anymore either. And there's this like animosity between them and the male stand-ins because they don't want the girls to come back and like take the ruling rights away from their families. That's kind of where we are. So there's a lot of intricacies, and like the world is more complex than that, obviously, but it is just like they're at this university academy, and honestly the most ridiculous stuff happens, but it's in some way, shape, or form so enjoyable. I don't know why, but maybe that's what I needed. Maybe I needed some like slightly ridiculous fantasy to get me through this, but I'm gonna continue reading this for the night, and I'll see where that takes me. Maybe I'll be in a mood to pick up Vow of Thieves again tomorrow. But this is what, day 3 of me trying to get out of this slump, and I still don't feel fully out of it, but that may, I don't know. We'll talk more maybe tomorrow. So I finished Zodiac Academy in like less than a day. So that book held my attention. I still don't know that I feel like I'm getting there. I'm getting out of it because I was more excited to pick the Vow of Thieves book back up, but now I'm just kind of like, meh. So it may just be the book. But like I said, I'm not interested. It's just not a book that is making me like scream to pick it up right now. So we shall see what I do. I think I'm gonna end this part of the vlog here and continue another one because I don't know how long this is gonna be, and I've been in like a slump making content too just because I haven't wanted to read, and also I wasn't around for a week, so I wanna try to get something out, even if it's a short little vlog, to get something out there. And you know what? Let me know what book has gotten you out of a book slump, because maybe I'll try it. Also, I was at my first day back at work today from my vacation, and 12 hours later, I got to leave. And that is not normal for me. So it was a lovely welcome back, and I'm happy to be home. So we'll see if I read anything tonight. I really just want to like eat and go to bed, but I don't know. We'll see. I really want to read the next Zodiac Academy book, but I have books on my TBR for this month that I need to try to read first. At least try to read. Like Vow of Thieves. I almost forgot to give my ratings for the books I read. So the first book I finished in this vlog was The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. This is her first foray into like an open door romance, and it's really still very light on the spice. I'd only give it probably like a 1 because there's only one chapter where the spice really happens, and she actually warns you at the beginning which chapter that is. If you want to skip it, you can skip it. It's really not that bad. I gave this a 3.75. This is a football romance, second chance romance of college sweethearts that get put back together because he's a NFL tight end and she is an agent, and she takes over because his agent has to like quit abruptly, and they work at the same firm. And he's still very broken up over their breakup. It wasn't really his choice, and it's him getting over that, and them obviously still having very strong feelings for each other, so they're dealing with that the whole time. But it's a very cute romance. I do really enjoy Sarah Adams's books, and this was no exception. So 3.75 on this, about 1 on spice. Then I read another sports romance, which was Cross the Line by Simone Sultani, and this is an F1 romance of brother's best friend's little sister, and also kind of like childhood friends to lovers because they knew each other when they were children too, and they were friends. It's not like he ignored her. So This was really adorable. I'm not a big F1 person, so they never really excite me that much. I've learned way more about F1 than I ever thought I would, reading maybe like 2 or 3 romances about it. But I don't love racing cars. I live right by a racetrack and I listen to the cars every weekend, and I don't love it. So anyway, did love this book though. It was a very sweet romance. It was adorable. It was lighthearted. It was just fun. And this book is gorgeous too. So I also gave this a 3.75. Spice was a little heavier, and this maybe like a 1.52, something around there. But still very sweet, and it was a little slow burny. The spice didn't happen until at least 60% of the way through the book, I'd say. I can't remember exactly, but I know it was over halfway through. So again, enjoyed that. Another fun sports romance. And then I read Zodiac Academy 2, Ruthless Fae, and that is about 2 twin sisters that grew up as changelings in the human world and are like thrust into the Fae world when they turn 18 to have an attempt to take back the throne, because they're the true heirs to Solarium, which is the kingdom. And they have this like animosity between them and the 4 children of the current people that are ruling the country. There's like 4 families that took over when their parents died. I don't really know how. I don't remember how they died, but parents are no longer in the picture. So because the girls were lost, these 4 families took over and like rule the kingdom together, and they all have a son, and these sons are like the heirs to the throne, and obviously have animosity towards these girls because they don't want them to take their throne because they grew up in the human world and they don't know anything and blah blah blah. They all have like different orders too. There's like dragons, vampires, harpies, sirens. There's like everything you could think of. A Medusa, Pegasus, whatever the plural of a Pegasus is, there's those. And it's just a fun, I don't want to say trashy because I hate using that, but like this is like the most, it's like good gossip. Like you don't want to not listen, and it's like other people's drama, and it is just so drama filled and so fast moving. And I know it's probably going to get repetitive because it's already a little repetitive with the like the relationship with the boys. It's a little different, but it's still like there's a lot of bullying, so if that's not your cup of tea, you probably won't like these books. I'm not usually a bully person. That's why I didn't like the Cruel Prince series. But for some reason, this one doesn't bother me as much. I don't know. Sometimes it bothers me. The first book bothered me a little bit more than the second. But it is more a romance, I think, than anything else. There is definitely like, there's a lot of spice. There's a lot of like sexually overt themes. So again, if that's not what you like, you probably won't like the Zodiac Academy, but I love it. I read that book in less than a day, so maybe I'm on my way out of my slump. I don't know, because I'm still struggling getting through Battle of Thieves. I did give that like a 4.25, and I'd say it's at least a 2 in spice rating for me. It's not necessarily like a lot of spice, but there's a lot of like I said, sexually overt themes. Spice is kind of limited, but overall the feel of the book is probably like a 1.52. So I'm going to end this one here, and I'll just pick up the same kind of content just in a new vlog. So it'll be part 2. So stay tuned for that, and thank you so much if you've made it this far. Don't forget to tell me in the comments below what book has gotten you out of a book slump to help me out, and I hope to see you all in part 2 or the next video that I post.